Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Guys, I want to talk about this real quick here, and that is, I'm not going to play the video because I don't want to even hear what he has to say. But Donald Trump says he will go to the Supreme Court if Congress tries to impeach him. Wouldn't it be nice, Robert, if we had a person sitting in the Oval Office who actually read the Constitution? Does he understand that the Constitution gives Congress the power to do so? Really? You're going to run to the Supreme Court? Can this dude read? How about if we get a Sesame Street version of the Constitution? Maybe he can understand that, Robert.
Well, I hate to tell y'all, but Trump is right. The Constitution says that the president can be impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors. It never details what high crimes and misdemeanors are. There needs to be a Supreme Court clarification as to what exactly the criteria are set out for that. That's why Bill Clinton could get impeached for hanging out with Monica Lewinsky. That's why there's no criteria set out. The Supreme Court has to set that.
But presidents of decency, Robert.
Wait. Why does the Supreme Court have to set it when we've actually had, in the history of the United States, you've had 3 presidents who've gone through a process? One fully went through the process, Andrew Johnson. Then, of course, you had hearings with Richard Nixon. Then you had Bill Clinton. I don't recall the Supreme Court weighing in those 3.
Well, as with most things, you don't get a decision until it's tested. None of those presidents went through the process, primarily because they were guilty. Andrew Johnson was guilty. Nixon was guilty. Frankly, I think Bill Clinton should have gone to the Supreme Court on that issue, but he knew he wasn't going to get removed by the Senate, so he knew it was a negatory action. The correct course of action legally for the House of Representatives, given the statements of the Mueller report, would be to censure the president, to condemn him, and have a joint resolution with the Senate on that. The idea that impeachment will be appropriate this time isn't really a practicable solution, and the Supreme Court is absolutely the venue where you would make that argument at. You go to the Supreme Court, they tell you what a high crime and misdemeanor is, then you can proceed with the impeachment proceedings.
You know,
Julian, there's a reason why the framers did not define that, because high crimes and misdemeanors are not criminal charges, they are political charges.
Precisely. And what you see, I would reference everyone to a column that Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco, wrote in the San Francisco Chronicle this weekend, in which he talked about the downside of impeachment, which is just getting us all caught up in this as we move into the 2020 election. I think that Robert is right about one thing, just one, that a censure would be appropriate and that it should be a bipartisan censure. However, and as you say, Roland, high crimes and misdemeanors are not spelled out. But even the most rabid Republicans agree that if this man did not cross a line, he basically danced with it intimately, came all the way to it. His son did not have an interview. His daughter did not have an interview. They demurred. They refused to release their tax returns. The Congress is a check and balance on the presidency. We have a tricameral system, the presidency, the court, and the legislature. And basically what he's doing is saying he does not have to pay attention to the legislature. And he has been provocative with his tweets and with everything else. And somebody, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, listen while I'm talking, somebody needs to put their foot down and say, okay, if we don't impeach you, we will so embarrass you that you're unfit for re-election.
Michael, before you speak, I'm going to read something here that may not sit well with Robert. On January 13th, 1993, Supreme Court Chief Justice William Rehnquist said this here. On behalf of a unanimous court, he ruled that authority over impeachment trials is, quote, is reposed in the Senate and nowhere else. Supreme Court doesn't have to define it. They've already made it clear. Impeachment lies with Congress. Nowhere else.
I wasn't at the top of my class in law school. I probably wasn't even in the middle. But I know one thing. In constitutional law, I guarantee you, I don't even think the Supreme Court will even hear the case. That's how far off. This isn't even a close call. what 45 is trying to do, and clearly I guess he thinks it's the best thing to do. He's trying to run out the clock on everything.
Yeah.
He's basically said, I'm not turning anything over. None of my people are coming to testify. I'm going to take everything to the courts, and while everything China churns its way through the court system, before we know it, we'll be at 2020, and then obviously we'll wait to see what happens at the ballot box. What probably will happen or could happen is you're going to have some Democrats, obviously, they're going to continue to push leadership. Because at some point, if you clear the decks early enough, impeach him now. If he refuses to send his people up to the Hill, not turning over documents, impeach him now. You'll be done with the impeachment hearings before the end, let me finish, before the end of the summer. Then you can start doing it. Go to the White House, talk about infrastructure, talk about prescription medicine. You clear the decks of the impeachment thing. He has a label of impeachment. We know he's not going to get removed from office, but he'll have the impeachment label.
But Michael, do you want Pence? Do you want Pence? I mean, we impeach Trump. We get Pence, which is like Trump in a Monsignor's robe, cleaning it up with Catholicism.
Well, look, the dirty secret.
Here's the deal. Hold up. Here's the deal. Very simple. This has nothing to do with Pence. Congress has a responsibility for the sake of democracy of this republic to say if there is a report that is dealing with obstruction of justice, then you deal with that. The Mueller report lays it out. That's what we're talking about here. Final comment before I go to Julian from you, then Robert before I give my final commentary.
Again, just echoing the same chamber. I think you could clear the decks, get rid of all this drama about impeachment, about the Mueller report, and then get to real issues that Americans care about, getting ready for 2020. There's no need. We know he's not going to get removed. We know the Senate is not going to. They may not even take it up. I think they're required to take it up, but clearly he's not going to get removed. And then so some people say, then what's the point of doing it? Put the label of impeachment on him.
Well, guess what?
Let him run with that.
Michael, what I think is that Nancy Pelosi needs to use her leadership. She needs to use her leadership to censure this man. I don't know if impeachment is the right way, but I do know that there must be a congressional response to this Mueller report, which frankly is damning. He keeps trying. They got their spin cycle, and their spin cycle is going.
Got it.
Spin cycle can clean up the stain.
Robert?
Very quickly, Democrats don't have the votes in the House to impeach. If the vote was held right now, they would not have the votes to impeach.
You don't know
they
that.
do not have the votes in the Senate to remove.
What are you basing that on? They don't have the votes in the House.
You said what?
What are you basing that on? They don't have the votes in the House. That's based on what?
Speaking of people I know in the Capitol, I know multiple, as many as 25 red state Democrats who said they would not vote for impeachment right now. Nancy Pelosi is defending those people by not bringing this up to a vote. The proper venue is a censure. Censure the president, move on, condemn him, move on to the 2020 election. If you want to remove him, then win it the good old-fashioned way in November.
Well, guess what? If you don't obstruct justice, there's no need for all of this. The Mueller report lays out clear, undeniable cases of obstruction, and Robert Mueller said he left it up to Congress for that very reason. Support Roland Martin Unfiltered. Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.